All right, we're live. I'm going to find and mute. A little technical curve.
Mm.
All right, bear with me. We're almost there. Perfect. All right. I can see Facebook Live. If there are any questions, coming live, welcome to our Inside Whole Wellness Talk, raw, real, and unfiltered. And I'm a co-founder of Whole Wellness Coaching, Dasha. And today we're meeting the team, real people behind a mission. And we are making coaching accessible, affordable, and empowering for everyone. And today I'm thrilled to welcome Heather Culpepper. And trust me, her story is the one you want to hear. And Heather is calling from Hawaii, where she's been since 2001. And she's bringing this beautiful mix of science, movement, art, and real life resilience to her coaching. Heather, I'm so glad to have you here with me today.
I'm so happy to be here and talking to you.
Oh. So let's start at the beginning. What's your background? And I know it's not the so-called typical path into life coaching.
Yes, so I started off. I went to college, got a bachelor's in zoology, of all things. I was running Division I track and cross country at Louisiana Tech University, and I'd already had a mission. I was going to physical therapy school, so I had mapped out what I was going to do. I could get my bachelor's degree, get all my prerequisites, go to physical therapy school, which I did. I was highly successful with my running career. Pushed, got into physical therapy school, became a physical therapist in 1995. Um, Worked primarily in pediatrics for the first 10 years of my career, and then was transitioning back to working with adults. I'd found Pilates through some physical therapy continuing education, and that was a piece that actually bridged the mind body that I thought was so important in bringing me back into working with the adult population, and then found yoga from Pilates, just seeking more of not just a mind body, but kind of a mind body spiritual component. And then set up a private practice. And through working with people, I realized there was just this piece that, you know, we're not just a mind, we're not just a body, we're not a spirit, we're all connected. And I could see patterns starting to unfold with people. They would come in with injuries based on beliefs about themselves and um, other things that were going on in their lives that I could see that was starting to manifest as an injury or pain. And I could see at that point there is a way to prevent that. If we could really access all aspects of someone's life, then true healing can happen, and there can be a preventative towards injury just by addressing the whole person. And
That
that's
is
what I think is so exciting about coaching.
Yes, and it is so amazing that you really bring that complex vision of a person. It's not just this, it's not just that. That's so many different components because we're not just one thing. Like you said, we're body and mind and spiritual and emotional bodies, and it's all interconnected. And one part of us having a hard time, the rest follows. And I know that nervous system regulation and heart coherence are central to everything that you do. And again, it's like your background is absolutely mind-blowing. And I know that these big pieces for someone who just tuning in and maybe never heard these terms before, what that actually mean and why it matters.
So, in a nutshell, I'll try and kind of briefly explain because I could talk I could do a whole segment on heart coherence and nervous system regulation.
Which let us know if you would like to, because yes, please sign me
I
up. I
would
would
be
love to
happy to
hear.
do that.
Oh, fantastic. Drop us
So,
a comment if you would
basic,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So basically, coherence, meaning in the body that there's everything is working together. So the heart, they have discovered that the heart has its own nervous system and it talks to the brain, and the brain talks to the heart. The brain will help regulate heartbeat, a lot of basic functions that we have. But the heart actually talks to the brain far more. The signaling is there. And those signals have to do with emotion. So that signaling goes up into the amygdala, the part of the brain that helps to regulate emotions. And I know people might have heard of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, that sympathetic system overload. Well, that heart coherence, so that's when you are really regulated within yourself. And also, when the heart is in coherence, the heart also regulates signals out like 360 degrees around you. And so, um, like your cell phones emit signals and you can pick that up. Well, the same thing, they can actually measure how far out, like 3 feet. It's like 3 feet, those signals that the heart is sending out. So when we are in a state where we are really regulated with our heart, we actually are regulating our emotions. And by doing that, we can make better choices. We are more creative. We're more kind to ourselves, to others. And so I think one of the most basic and easiest ways to initiate a session is just getting into the heart. And it's simply just really focusing on your breath and finding your natural rhythm of just breathing into your heart and just letting yourself center. And it's something you can do whoever you're talking with or by yourself in the car, eyes open. It's just a natural access point.
Can we pause and do it all together?
Yeah, yes, we can.
All
Yeah.
right, lead the way.
So just really settling and just noticing. That's the first point, is just noticing your heart and finding your breath and just really settling there. And you're not trying to force anything. You're just feeling and noticing.
I fully arrived. And
There you
remembered to click the record button.
go.
Power of being in the present moment.
Yes, and it's from that point. I mean, and it can happen like that. And then you notice thoughts, you notice feelings, you notice sensations, you notice pain that you've been blocking out, or you notice that you're automatically thinking about what you're cooking for dinner rather than being present with yourself or with somebody.
Beautiful. Feel very rejuvenated. Wonderful. So easy,
It
right?
is so easy.
It's we have all the tools that we need to
You
live a
do.
whole wellness life. It's
Mhm.
what a wonderful reminder. Thank you. And I heard you say that embodiment is very necessary part of the coaching process. Can you please tell us what that means and maybe give an example?
So, going back to like that heart coherence. So I feel like, again, we're not just a body, just a mind. And that if we're trying to make choices, like say we really want a different job, or we want to, exercise more, or be in a better relationship with, you know, our children, a spouse, a coworker, when we are not in our bodies are giving us signals all the time about what we want. I mean, about what's really good for us. So someone say, has put you up for a promotion. Maybe you're in a job and maybe that's not really what your soul is calling for, or what you really want deep inside. And just because you can do something and everyone's telling you you should do something, if you're not listening to the signals that your body is telling you, you might make choices that put you on a different path that then leads you back in the same spiral, the same pattern that you're actually trying to change. That you want more joy in your life. And that joy might be, you know, taking a chance and following your heart. I mean, that's a term that people use all the time. I'm going to follow my heart. Well, what does that really mean? Well, really tapping into, again, that heart brain connection of what is possible when we truly listen to ourselves.
Oh, I love that. What is possible? And sometimes I notice people show up in our lives or situations really showing, yes, what is possible. And for us, I think it's especially nowadays, before holidays, with everything happening in the world and in the country, it's so easy to dissociate and
Mhm.
really be in denial and go into the loop of not listening to the body signals and trying to push through. Do you have a quick exercise like you led before with just the heart, the breathing? Is there anything else? Let's say I'm driving to work feeling stressed and forgetting things and knowing that I'm going to go into the office and people bombarding me with questions. What is something that I can do on my way from home in that so-called transition to really ground?
Yeah. I find kind of a quick kind of unwinding in the body. So I would start with just, breathing back into my heart, and then again getting kind of grounded. I think that's a great way to get grounded. And then noticing where you have tension in your body. I mean, it could be in the jaw, it could be in your little finger. And because everything's connected, the whole, our physical system is connected through a myofascial web, but we're all connected. So just noticing what wants to move. I mean, it can be as simple as, oh, my jaw is so tight. Let me just put my hands right here and just gently, you know, see if I can release a little bit of tension. Maybe you need to have a difficult conversation with someone later on. And that's acting as a way of self-soothing. I mean, it kind of goes back to even some primitive, emotions that we have. And then we're connected, and then we can make the next move. Again, about to make an appropriate choice, or to come from a place of kindness
Mm-hmm.
rather than reactivity.
Oh, yeah. And yes, self-compassion and being kind.
Mhm.
And also, I love the phrase, you cannot think your stress away, you can only move it out of your
Mhm.
body. And it's so easy to get caught up, right? It's when we're in front of our laptops and our desks and forget to move. And with your background as a Division One athlete, is like it's so incredible. My God, how does that experience inform the work you do now with clients who deal with pressure, the performance, and as a recovering perfectionist? perfectionism.
Yeah.
And I am particularly interested in that perfection part because that's something that I am currently working with and trying to get away from. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are in the same boat.
Yeah, that was a really challenging one for me that took many, many years and a lot of self-compassion. I actually had to step away from racing because it was not good for me. It put me in a mindset that I had to be the best at everything. It was, the self-talk that I would tell myself. I mean, I wouldn't talk to anybody that way. Um, and I realized I missed out on a lot of things. I wouldn't do something if I wasn't good at it. And, that impacts the relationship with myself, impacts relationship with others. And I really tell people nowadays, I mean, people say, oh, no pain, no gain, or, you have to push, 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 do more, more, more. And sometimes the greatest doing can be in being, in just stepping back and taking the bigger picture in and reframing our story about, what is it that's really important to me? And there is no perfect. I mean, sometimes the best play is from an accident or from just trying and seeing things from a different perspective. Um, One time, my son told me something, and this is after having done, years and years of this work. He said to me, "Mom, I think sometimes you try too hard and you give up too easily." And it was like, "You're right. Sometimes I do that." And I actually have a little sticky note, about um, again, go to your heart and do what gives you joy, what brings you joy. And there is perfection in the imperfection.
Yes, my sticky note says better done than perfect.
Ah, there you go. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and
Jumping in, just jumping in.
right, exactly. Let's just do it. And it's so
Yeah.
easy to say, let's just do it. It's simple, yet it's not easy. And I've been wondering, what is the root of wanting to do more, wanting to push through? What is your take on that?
I think I think some of it is conditioning, either from society, schooling, um, other people. Some of it I do find there are some roots. Became very interested in human design a couple of years ago, and that has actually been another useful tool I bring in as far as looking at what are some things that are inherent to our personalities and how that can actually conflict with maybe the deeper parts of who we are. So I think there's a lot of different tools. I think sometimes those questions to elicit um, how we view things can be a useful framework for seeing why are we actually trying to be perfect. Are there some deeper layers that are unique to each of us that actually are calling for us to look at and to integrate and to contemplate so that we're not so hard on ourselves and not trying to be this perfect version of ourselves rather than, I guess, the true version of who we are.
Ah, yes, drop us in the comments. I'm a perfectionist. Really admit that and unwind from that and go to your heart and reconnect with yourself. It's so much beauty in there, just taking that pause, maybe journaling about it, going in nature. And I do my best thinking looking at the ocean and
Mm-hmm.
just having that moment of waves coming in and out, that rhythm, just finding something that works through trial and error, being
Hmm.
being
Yeah.
comfortable, being uncomfortable, and being imperfect on so many levels because life is so messy. And what's interesting for me, I've been going through a lot of little changes. They're balling up in nervous system being on hyper
Mhm.
alert. And what I'm noticing, that's why we all need coaches. That's why we need help. And as perfectionists, it's really easy to go into this little shell of, I have to figure everything out by
Mhm.
myself. What would you recommend for people like me reaching out and kind of how to push through that and ask for help and say, I'm a mess. I'm a beautiful
Mhm.
mess, but I'm a mess. And I used to control everything and used to really hold on to things. And now I see the world is crumbling around me. And I know deep down that's for my best. But at this particular moment, I am freaking out.
Yeah. I think connection is really important. I in person, over Zoom, a phone call. My greatest mentor now lives in Portugal, and I was lucky enough to be able to travel to see her with a group first part of September. But for me, just knowing that she's out there, that someone's out there, I had, that they care about me. And I think that is what most of us want, just to feel seen and heard for who we really are. And I think that's the beauty of a coaching relationship is that you have someone that believes in you, that can help you find your inner tools so that you have that inner guidance that we all have. And the more we each find our own inner guidance, then the more we interact with other people, the more we can mirror back to them their own inner guidance. And so we're meeting each other as whole, complete individuals rather than these fragmented parts of ourselves that are running, 90 miles an hour, trying to accomplish too much rather than being from a centered place of being able to make appropriate choices for ourselves. And then when we make appropriate choices for ourselves, then we're showing up for the other people in our lives that we really care about and that really care about us.
Yeah. Ah, yes. So important. And with your experience working with clients through birth through their hundreds and spending time in their homes, what have you learned in family dynamics and how they impact ability to heal and grow?
It's huge. I mean, I have, like I said, I started working in pediatrics, and that was primarily through early intervention and in the school systems. So children that were born premature or had disabilities, um, family dynamics. I mean, we all know, with children, and that's a huge. Same thing into working with the geriatric clients that I have worked with. Um, when we don't feel supported, we're less likely to heal or less likely to take chances. And I feel like, we can't work, we're not ever working with just one person in isolation. We're working with all of our families, our friends, and just by letting the person that you're actually working with know that you care about them, that gives them a greater ability to be resourced when working with their other family members or their other friends. Does that answer kind of the
Yes,
question?
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It's really easy, I think, especially nowadays, to feel isolated from the
Mhm.
world or people because we're so busy, 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 running, 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 like you said, trying to like running a marathon or sprint and trying to accomplish so many things instead of pausing and being human beings, not human doings.
Mhm.
And I know that you have overcome some significant life challenges. and who shaped you as a coach. And without, of course, having to share any or all details, up to you, what would you say those experiences taught you about resilience?
They've made me who I am today for sure. I dealt with some cancer, infertility issues, divorce, and some other health issues, and then other family members going through their own issues. And it really taught me the importance of taking the pause, of being present, of not trying to do 200 things at once. But it also taught me that I have it within me to meet life's challenges. Um, and the importance of a connection of at least one person, that will be an anchor for you so that you can then be that anchor for yourself. Um, I I really feel like I can hold space for people, and I really truly have an understanding of life's challenges, and it may not be the exact same challenge, but it's only by really being with the challenge and meeting it that we can truly break through and grow from it, and that we can reframe that story so that we're not just telling us a story about what happened to us or what is happening to us, but that the greater power of what we can take from that and grow and learn and then bring that out into the world and share and be with other people who might need exactly what we've been through.
Ah, that's a wonderful reminder because, yes, all of these components are so important and not focusing on just one thing, maybe one thing at a time, but understanding that
Mm.
we're so many components. And it's again so easy to forget when we get up, take kids to school, go to an office,
Mhm.
and rinse, repeat, and just going into this hamster wheel. Just, yes, pausing long enough to
Mhm.
recognize those parts of us that are asking for that healing and growth. And also everybody I meet who are in healing arts overcame some really significant challenges. And looking at challenges, as you brought up, as well, I might be paraphrasing, but it's a blessing that you now can help people, not just sharing knowledge, textbook knowledge, you sharing life, understanding it from very deep, from the root, and holding that space. I think this is one of the most important components of life coaching, holding that container, holding that safe space that a lot of us don't have in day-to-day lives. And who would you say be a great fit working with you?
I love working with anybody who really wants to find their genius, like who am I, and bring it out into the world. I am so excited when I see anyone overcome a challenge, whether it's physical, whether it is um, you know a specific goal. I want to be able to do X, Y, Z. And I love being able to pick out in all the components that will help them do that. I have a Santa Claus bag of tricks that I love to say, here, let's try this one. And if this one doesn't work for you, let's figure out what are going to be the tools that you can take into your life that aren't just a quick fix, but are tools that you will actually use and grow from and learn from and then share with other people. I get so excited.
Oh,
to-
I get excited listening to that. It's, yes, bringing solutions and that brainstorming. I was like, yeah, I have the tools for you. And yes, so exciting.
the
And I
process
know,
to me is amazing to find the way for people. It's just like, oh yeah, this is it. You've
Oh,
got it. Yeah. Go and shine.
yeah. And you shine creatively in your personal life that you runs for pleasure and you paint, you create music and poetry. How creativity and movement fit into your self-care or self-nurturing?
Well, exercise for me is paramount. And I discovered for myself early on that exercise in the morning, and I actually find for a lot of people, is a way that I mean, for some people, it's just to get it out of the way, but the health benefits are so important. But for me, it's my time of thinking, of processing, of being alone before I meet the world. And the art has actually been really important for me coming out of perfectionism because I used to really enjoy a lot of painting and creative endeavors, but I felt like, again, it had to be perfect. And um, I recently, a few years ago, really got back into painting and watercolor in particularly because it has its own mind. I mean, water through paint, it's another mechanism. You have to go with the flow, literally. And I find that just writing down my words, putting something on paper or cooking, anything just allows me to, again, get out of my left brain thinking. I can actually make better choices. I'm more intuitive that way. I recently discovered AI as a tool of taking poetry that I'd written before or just now, and I've put that to music, and that has been so much fun to be able to hear a reflection back of what I was thinking or what I wrote. It's been an amazing tool for enhancing another way of being creative.
Yes, AI is a big topic, and there's so like two camps of people
I
who
know.
think it's the root of all evil and people who think it's a tool and a whole wellness. We see it as a fantastic tool because one can give a person a hammer and that person can go and harm somebody or build a beautiful house.
Mhm.
And the AI is the same way. It depends on how we use it. It's just a tool. And
Mhm.
it's a wonderful tool, it's a useful tool, but it's that hammer that we control how we apply.
Mhm.
And offering AI coaching, it's been transformational because it's access 24/7, and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I have a thought that it's like spinning and spinning and spinning, and either I go into creative mode, getting it out. Thank you for it's a reminder for myself about painting. I have the whole section of a room filled with craft supplies and painting, and I haven't done it in a while. And sometimes, yes, I wake up and just go into some creative something journaling or getting yeah, some poetry floating through, or going to our AI tool and being, I need help with X, Y, and Z, and I'm a very practical person, and sometimes I really want to sit down and go into the philosophical part or psychological part, and sometimes I just need quick snappy answer, the how to, and just the outside perspective. So I can get the out of my head, like you said, getting out of that and be more intuitive and be in the body more. And I was like, oh, okay, I can go back to sleep. We're all
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that we can use AI for so many wonderful things, creativity, help, just brainstorming, coming up with something absolutely brilliant and editing some things. It's we can go on about it. Um, and I'm also curious that you've lived in Hawaii, Maui, since 2001, and I'm curious how this environment influenced your life and your work.
Yeah. It's interesting. when my first husband and I moved here, we'd never even visited Hawaii. Um, but I got a job with a traveling therapy company that moved us over here, and I was working in the schools. And I love it here. I love being outdoors all the time. The concept of ohana here really struck me, and that everyone's family. I mean, and that my family lives in Texas. Everyone's really far away. I'm going back at Thanksgiving, looking forward to that. But there is a sense of community that we're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of each other. And I mean, it's very evident. And I've always felt um, welcome here. Um, and I think when we truly can show up as who we really are without an agenda, just, willing to meet life, then, then life will show us immense possibilities that we didn't even know were possible.
Yeah. And with that, what do you wish more people understood about healing and growth and transformation?
It's not a linear process. Speaking from myself, that sometimes it might feel like it's two steps forward, four steps back, but sometimes the four steps back is where the true transformation comes from. It's going back to the resiliency, remembering what we've learned and going back into the wisdom of the body, of not shutting ourselves off from our heart, and listening to the body when it's speaking softly so that it doesn't start screaming at you, noticing the tension in the neck that 5 hours later is the screaming headache that then is the screaming at your, life partner. Um, but just a continual check-in process, taking a pause, um, revisiting your goals, looking at what your head said and realizing, is that where my heart still aligns with that? Or have life circumstances changed and the goal now looks different because I'm different, than I was a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yes. Yep, not having the resistance and not being stuck and letting go. Such big lessons, and um, your life story shows that it can be done with grace. And I'm so honored to know you and know your story. It's it's so wonderful, and seeing you living whole wellness life is very inspiring. And I'm curious, what excites you most about being a part of Whole Wellness Coaching and the mission, making coaching accessible to everyone?
I feel really honored because I feel like um, coaching has, in many realms, this idea like that's only for a certain camp of people, like only certain people. Um, Coaching is not for me. I have to do this on my own, and I've worked with people, again, all ages and all parts of life, all in different parts of their life too. And transition is where I feel like I can mirror back to somebody the nuggets of gold that they have within them that maybe have gotten buried and that we just need to shine it up. And I feel like this is such an incredible offering that whole wellness coaching is bringing to everyone, that we can find the right combination for you to find your whole wellness.
Yes, thank you for being such an important part of the mission, of the vision, and what we do. I would say it's a wrap for today, our Q&A, and then thank you so much for spending this time. And answering these questions, listening. If you're all listeners, please drop us a comment if you want to stay connected, because at Wholewellness Coaching, we love having real conversations, real connection, and making real change. And we can do it with your help. If you reach out, we are educators at Whole Wellness Platform. We're happy to share our knowledge. We're happy to guide you. And this is what we do. This is what our mission as a team and mission as individuals. So let's stay connected. Visit us at wholewellnesscoaching.org or DM me here at Facebook. It's so wonderful having this community of people, and let's stay connected. Thank you, Heather, so much.
Thank you.